Gojo vs Sukuna. Around 1 year ago, I made a video discussing a rematch between a fully healed post-Shinjuku Heian Sukuna versus a post-Shinjuku fully healed Gojo, and most people agreed with me. However, today I wanted to go into some of the comments and give my thoughts on people's points, and even debunk some common rhetoric that I see. I'll start by going over some main points in the previous video for those who don't want to go back and watch, but before that, please like and sub if you'd like to see some more JJK content. Lately, YouTube hasn't really been pushing my stuff, so it would help out a lot. I expect some more content, and thank you for watching. I thoroughly believe Sukuna takes this 9 times out of 10. The bulk of my argument in the previous video came down to how close the final few domain clashes were. After all, this battle is with a fully healed Sukuna and Gojo, so this will no doubt begin with them expanding their domains. Kinda like Sukuna and Yuta. The final few clashes were even. Dead even. Meaning both domains broke at the exact same time. Even when Gojo won the final clash, it was because he landed a punch forcing Sukuna to heal, causing a time lag for the expansion of the domain, which came down to 1/100th of a second. When you have two fighters who are so evenly matched and you give one the slightest buff, not that I'm arguing it's a slight buff, but just for the sake of the argument, the buffed one will clearly stand and come out on top. When it comes to how much stronger Sukuna gets, which is heavily debated, 1, it doesn't matter, because you make Sukuna stronger whatsoever, he will win the dead even clash. And 2, Gojo has an entire page glazing Miguel's anatomy and his physique. Now give that perfect physique that Gojo glazes, hand it over to Sukuna, who has 4 arms, 2 mouths, 7 feet tall. I know I'm glazing. It's scary. Another point I brought up in Sukuna's favor is he no longer has to prioritize adaptation to his target. He is fully allowed to use his own curse technique and can spam Domain Amp more often. For those who didn't know, Domain Amp interrupted the adaptation process to Infinite Void, Infinity, Red, Blue, all of that. Meaning when Mahoraga was out and adapting, anytime Sukuna wanted to adapt, he could not use Shrine whatsoever. Gojo even points out how he's at a disadvantage in the fight. This is him wondering why he isn't using it, but he's admitting that Sukuna is giving Gojo the advantage by not using his own technique. Sukuna also knows about Unlimited Hollow and isn't relying on an already adapted Mahoraga to stop it, meaning he can now use Shrine, or just slashes in general, even World Slash if he wanted to stop Gojo from getting it off. Sukuna also obviously has the World Slash, like I just said, but with Gojo being the fastest in the verse, and it requiring chance, I doubt he'd ever just be able to throw it out there and hit him. I think the only situation in which Sukuna lands a World Slash is if Gojo is in an active burnout. As you can see by what's on screen right now, a Maguna, with only 2 arms I might add, can keep up with a burnt out recovering Gojo somewhat well. Like, he doesn't get hit, he doesn't land a hit, but he doesn't get hit. So if there's a stronger, faster Sukuna who is on Gojo's ass as he's trying to recover from burnout, I do believe he could stall him with 2 hands while charging up a World Slash with the other 2. As we know, the reason this is because RCT makes you slower. So this is the only scenario I think Sukuna could land a World Slash. Either that or some kind of scenario where he's preoccupied with doing something else, like trying to hit a Hollow Purple or casting Falling Blossom Emotion. Something along those lines. I'd also like to bring up again how Sukuna can now spam chants and hand signs when doing even normal slashes. This ups his AP. Also this time around, Sukuna isn't changing barrier conditions to counter Gojo, since the way Gojo counters Malevolent Shrine is now set in stone. So now Fuga's fuel isn't getting reset. The barrier will most likely be smaller to cover Infinite Void's higher durability, but this just means less DC, like as in destruction capability of the environment. It doesn't necessarily make Fuga any weaker or any colder. It's still going to be just as hot. It's still going to be his big finishing move besides World Slash. He could also use Fuga in that same burnout that I was talking about. If you really want to stretch it, Sukuna might be able to Fuga the same time he's doing a World Slash. Now is Gojo just going to let him do that and sit there? Probably not. He's probably going to try to get in Sukuna's face. Or Sukuna's going to get in his face, as nobody is just letting Sukuna sit there charge up both of those attacks. Even if Gojo somehow wins a domain clash, Sukuna has Hollow Wicker Basket to hold out as he mimics the recovery to domain again. Even if you think Sukuna has no win cons with World Slash or Fuga, eventually over time Gojo will get brain damage from needing to spam domains due to Sukuna winning every clash, and his RCT will slow and Sukuna will kill him over a longer period of time instead of it being an immediate win. We also know Sukuna can just tank multiple purples even if Gojo gets them off. While Sukuna's two main abilities, World Cutting Slash and Fuga, if he can get them off, in my opinion, guarantee victory. Especially World Cutting Slash. Fuga's more up in the air as far as how much damage it'll do to Gojo, but as soon as Gojo loses that RCT, Fuga sets him on fire. Slashes, he'll slow down, World Cutting Slash. I personally don't think that Falling Blossom emotion will matter all that much, as all it does is kind of give him more time, because he still gets cut, as you can see in this panel. They're just shallow, so he's just going to be taking a lot of damage over time, and we all know that these two can fight forever. So if it just comes down to Gojo using RCT, he's gonna wane over time due to those constant resets, just like we see in the main fight. If you'd like to see all the advantages for Gojo, I mentioned them in my previous video, and you're gonna have to check it out or else this video would be 20 minutes long. Real quickly, I want to go over some things I got wrong in the previous video. I believe that the conditions for small ball were still swapped as far as the outside and inside, it being weaker on the inside. However, due to this lovely reactor here, seriously go watch his stuff. He's awesome. I was made aware that this is most likely not the case, as it doesn't make sense to still have them swapped, as Gojo completely shrank the barrier, which is why the domain lasts so long. Keeping the swap conditions doesn't really make that much sense. I say most likely as it's never confirmed outright, but just for the sake of the argument, we will assume it's true, as it doesn't change anything I've said in this video, but makes the clear-cut way of Sukuna winning that I gave in the previous video a little less straightforward. I also stated that Gojo doesn't know about Furnace or his true form. Completely untrue. He knows Sukuna has 4 arms, and Sukuna even hints that the humans would know about Fuga, but Curse Spirits wouldn't when fighting Jogo. Now for the comments, but first I do want to say that having over 100 of them on my first edited video makes me a very thankful skeleton. So thank you all. I know I'm late on this, but I figured this was a good video to come back with to hopefully start a semi-decent schedule. First off, a few people brought up the Gege statement. Every Sukuna fan's nightmare. But my friends, it's really not that bad. The quote reads as follows. Quote, I think that the usual Gojo would have sensed that something was amiss and could have avoided the fatal wound. End quote. However, if you look closely at the said quote, it practically confirms Gojo can't see the slashes, as in the word sensed instead of see. And in this video and the previous, I'm not even trying to argue that the world slash blitzes Gojo or perception blitzes him. I'm well aware he could most likely dodge it, which is why I say something else would need to be happening while Sukuna is charging it, such as him pummeling him while the short hit's going, or some kind of Fuga, something like that, you know? Another one of the main points I've seen, which I've covered in my video, but hey, listening's hard, I get it, is that Gojo can just spam hollow purples as often as he wants. I even saw a comment saying Gojo could use 8 of them at the exact same time. Let's get into it. So I have 2 counters for that first one there. 1. Sukuna isn't relying on an already adapted Maho to stop anything. He can now use slashes to try and blow up the red, which travels much faster than a piercing blood. 2. Sukuna can see which technique Gojo is about to fire, as you can see in this panel here. And look how slow this red moves. Sukuna has enough time to send out Maho, watch Maho fail, fire a piercing blood, watch that fail, and then Gojo can chant and watch them collide. Sukuna is stopping that purple. I don't know what to tell you, man. He has everything in the bag to help him stop it. As far as him firing off 8 at the same time, well, 1, Gojo doesn't want to obliterate Sukuna. He needs him alive to keep Megumi alive. I know that seems like kind of a cop-out, but you can't outright dismiss the notion that Gojo could spam multiple hollow purples, because it's never stated that he can't. I can cast reasonable doubt upon it, but at the end of the day, Gojo fans don't care about that. I believe if Gojo could have done something like this, he would have. Due to how slow the orbs move and the chanting required to launch one, I don't think he's firing multiple. He could have done this at the beginning of the fight. You want to plug your controller in his ass, go ahead. 9 holo purples at the same time, but he didn't. And each time he uses a holo purple, it's a slow combination and then a chant. Every single time. So I don't think he could do 8 holo purples at the same time, obliterate Sukuna, or else he's just untouchable, unstoppable, greatest character in all of fiction with infinity and infinite nukes going off it whenever he feels like it. And even if he does get one off, that's not a win con for Gojo whatsoever. He would have to get multiple off in succession. Sukuna eats holo purples for breakfast, especially with this new body where his curse energy reinforcement is presumably a lot better. Another commenter also said that Gojo wouldn't even try to domain clash, which gives Sukuna a free sure hit, which just means Gojo's permanently slower because he has to use RCT to fight back the shrine. Or you could argue that he would use Shadow Blossom Emotion. Even then, that'd leave Gojo in an opening because Sukuna now knows that Gojo has it because this is a rematch after all. I don't think Gojo's just going to completely cast aside his domain, as Infinite Void is pretty much his win con, besides like 9 holo purples in a row that hopefully kills Sukuna. So yeah, I don't think Gojo is just going to avoid that. Plus, I feel like it's in character for him to be like, oh, you think I can't use my domain? Well, I'm going to try. Sounds pretty in character to me. I don't know about you guys. Also, if you want to argue, he just sits back and tries to make purples while Sukuna uses his domain. The slashes hit everything, so it would destroy a red. So he'd have to be like 200 meters away, and that purple isn't touching Sukuna. I'm sorry, guys. If you seriously believe Gojo is able to get a purple off while a 4-arm Sukuna is in his face, I don't know what to tell you. He's stopping that purple. Either with slashes or a world slash or a fuga. He has all these things at his disposal, while Gojo needs to hit Infinite Void. Even if you find some way to argue his domain wins, Hollow Wicker Basket, and Sukuna does recovery. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed what's hopefully a start to a decent schedule. Give me your thoughts in the comments. I'm sorry if I was a little bit more mean, you know. This conversation's over, guys. Sukuna, 9 times out of 10, he wins. Let's just accept it. Let's move on. Let's talk about Modulo. Talk about Season 3. Let's get hype. By the way, I stream a few times a week around 9 p.m. CST. I'm a college student and I'm working, so it's kind of hard to get a lot of streams and videos out, but they all are really fun. Also, here's a little teaser for the next video. Boom! Right there. You have to go back and find it. It's going to be only a single second. Good luck with that. And anyways, thank you for watching My Undead.